welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi, and if you're new here, I am a Catholic sharing my life about being recently confirmed into the Catholic Church. Today we're talking about all things veiling. Now I know what you're thinking. Veiling? What does that even entail? That is a great question. Whether you are a Catholic or whether you are of some other denomination, veiling is a very popular practice among Christians. Today, I actually chose to wear my veil in the Catholic Church for the first time. While I was super nervous, it was a great decision that I made, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's go ahead and hop into the video. Before we get started, if you like this content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button or that like button. Anything helps, and I'm trying to grow my channel and get new followers so that way I can make even more videos discussing ministry. So the first question that gets brought up with veiling is why veil? What is the point? And what is the scriptural evidence? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have my trusty Holy Bible here, so let's go ahead and look at the scripture. So the scriptural evidence or support for veiling goes back to 1 Corinthians 11, particularly 2 through 16. As a quick precursor, Paul wrote this letter to the Corinthians during his 3-year visit in Ephesus. Paul's main mission in this letter was to discuss the disorder that had occurred in the church. Paul had actually received reports of problems within the church. This included sexual immorality, not following the rules of members of the church, and also jealousy and divisiveness. The most notable mention in 1 Corinthians 11 is 5. In the Bible, it's marked as uncovering the head in worship. Paul writes, "I praise you for remembering me in everything and for holding to the traditions just as I passed them on to you. But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. Every man who prays or prophesies with his head covered dishonors his head, but every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. It is the same as having her head shaved. For if a woman does not cover her head, she might as well have her hair cut off. But if it is a disgrace for a woman to have her hair cut off or her head shaved, then she should cover her head." Now, many individuals take this sole piece of scripture from 1 Corinthians and say that the veil needs to be enforced. The veil was created into law in 1917, and eventually over time it began declining in the 20th century when women began to report that it was misogynistic. Eventually, it was taken out of the law in 1983. But if you read on in 1 Corinthians, Paul explains that the decision to veil is a choice left up to that woman. In 1 Corinthians 11:13, he says, "Judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a woman to pray to God with her head uncovered? Does not the very nature of things teach you that if a man has long hair, it is a disgrace to him, but that if a woman has long hair, it is her glory? For long hair is given to her as a covering. If anyone wants to be contentious about this, we have no other practice, nor do the churches of God." So here in this quote, obviously Paul is giving this decision up to women. They can choose. If you have long hair, Paul explains that it is acceptable to only wear your long hair because long hair is seen as a covering, just as the veil covers women en masse as well. So we've already established that the veil is a choice that women have, and specifically only for women. But why women? Let's think back to our lovely Virgin Mary. Now, in visions and in drawings, the Virgin Mary is perceived as having a veil. Let's think for a minute. If you've ever attended Catholic Mass, you can note that the chalice, which is the cup that the wine is placed in, that is later transformed into Jesus' body and blood, it has a veil on it. Now, when veiling, the actual definition of veiling, what it really means is that we are showing that something is sacred, and we are setting it apart from everything else. Obviously, the chalice is sacred because it is holding Jesus, which is why it has a veil placed on top of it. Same goes for veiling crosses during the time of Lent. It's showing that it's sacred. And women are extremely sacred, even more so than men perhaps. I know this sounds a little crazy, but hear me out. Women can bear life. Just as the Virgin Mary bore Jesus, women are given an extraordinary opportunity and chance to bear children. And this is something that men do not have the access or capability to do. So if women can bear, we are sacred and, more importantly, set apart from men. Hence the reason why we veil. We are set apart and we are sacred, just as the Virgin Mary was sacred when she bore Jesus. Now, this does not mean that you can only veil when you're pregnant. It's just an example of why women veil in particular and not women and men. But what is the symbolism for veiling? I mean, okay, I get it, right? Women are able to, but why should you? What's the point? Well, thank you for asking. The symbolism for veiling goes back to showing humility, modesty, and acknowledgement of sacred devotion. It is not only a personal devotion, but it is a way to honor God in a tangible or physical manner. It's also known as an expression of reverence, and it shows your renewed appreciation for Jesus. As Jesus is the bridegroom and the church is the bride, if we are also a part of that church, that makes us that bride. This means that by wearing the veil, us women are preparing ourselves to take in Jesus and to take a part of the Eucharist. The veil has been known to strengthen one's commitment to prayer and to also deepen their sense of love for the Eucharist itself. There are a whole other variety of spiritual fruits that veiling provides, which is why I decided, let me veil for the first time. Now, obviously, I did not just want to throw on a veil, doing it just for show, and walking in Mass and being a part of it. This is why I made sure to do research on it the night before and in previous days, and I also wanted to make sure that my heart was set in the right place. More importantly, I did not just want to veil just to show or to kind of put on this front that I'm holy. I wanted to do it for God and Jesus. One thing about veiling is there's different types and different colors with different symbolic meanings. There is the mantilla veil, the chapel veil, full-length veil, and the infinity veil. Now, the mantilla veil is one of the most popular, and it is known to be used in Spain and in Latin America. Chapel veil is smaller, shorter, and more modest, but it's got the word chapel in it, so you wear it to chapel and to Mass. Full-length veil is often used in public, but as always mentioned, it can be used in the church as well and is used in the church. And the infinity veil is pretty unique because it goes sort of like an infinity where it's circular around you. Regardless, they all do the same thing, just different styles and a different preference for everybody. But what about the colors? So there are actually different colors for veils. The most popular are white and black, and white is actually used to symbolize your virginity or if you are unmarried, whereas black is often worn at funerals, but it also shows that you are married. So women who are married usually wear black, and women who wear white usually are unmarried. This doesn't mean that you have to wear a specific color. This is just the symbolistic meaning attached to each color. There's also mantilla colors, which respond with each liturgical season. So there's purple, red, green, gold, and blue, which align with each of the liturgical seasons like Lent. Now, I randomly picked mine up one day after Mass in our little gift shop, and among them there was white, dark blue, and pink, and I went with pink. But when I researched it online, I can't really find any symbolic meaning of the color pink. So if y'all do know the meaning of that, please let me know in the comment section down below. But I just thought that light pink would look really pretty. It's not like a bright hot pink, just very light, pretty, feminine, whatnot. Another question I had when doing research is I wanted to make sure that I knew when to wear this. I wasn't sure if I could wear it out in public or anything, or if I only wear it at Mass, I wasn't sure, so I did some more research into it and found that answer. So the main time where you wear your veil is when you're in the presence of the Blessed Sacrament. So while you are taking the Eucharist, in other words. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go into Mass and wait till the very last second, right where Father says, the mystery of faith. No, you can put it on before you go to church, like in your car, in the bathroom or something. So I personally woke up, got ready, put it on, wore it, and then after Mass, I had RCIA or OCIA, and I just took it off then. Another really fun fact about the veil is somebody quoted that it is meant to say to other people, the Lord is my Lord, and I love him, and I'm ready to obey him. So let's talk about my experience. I'm going to be completely truthful. I was really nervous to veil in the first place. I was nervous that people would think that I'm proclaiming that I'm holy or better than other people or something like that. So I was pretty nervous. But the last time I attended RCIA, my instructor, Miss Joanne, an amazing, lovely woman, I love her with my whole heart. She was like, I really want to veil, but I do it sometimes. And I was like, I can do it with you. And I tried to do it with her this time. And I decided I'm just going to do it on my own. And it was really, really great. So I put on the veil after waking up. Pretty cool. Feels pretty cool. Kind of feel like a nun almost in a way. I made sure to put it on the proper way by watching like TikTok videos and things. The main thing is you take the clips and you clip 2 in the front like so, and then flip it back over. You're done. During Mass, I actually found it super relaxing. I felt like my presence was more so on God and on Jesus than it had ever been before. Now, I love my hair. I have curly hair. I get a lot of compliments on my hair sometimes. Not to do my own horn, but I think my hair is pretty. And one thing that I realized is during Mass, I tend to compare myself to other girls a lot, whether it be their outfits or their hairstyle or their makeup. I'm always feeling down on myself because I feel like I'm not good enough or I don't look pretty enough. Internal thoughts. It's besides the point. But anyhow, I realized that after I put on the veil, I was a lot less focused on the appearance of other people and on myself. I didn't have to worry about what my hair looked like, if it looked frizzy, if the hairstyle was okay, if my part was centered, anything like that. I was simply just focusing on God and on Jesus. I also felt more like Jesus is and God's child in a way because I felt holier, if that makes sense. I mean, you're dressed up. I kind of felt like a little princess or something, and it was so great. I feel like I could really focus on God. And during Mass, we had this big picture of Jesus up in the front of the room. I forget what the specific name of it is, but I'm going to look it up when editing this. But I remember just staring at him and I could not stop looking at him. And previous times I've attended Mass, I would kind of be looking around, looking at other people. I think that's a big thing that Catholics struggle with, is not looking at other people or judging other people. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, her hair looks bad. No, I'm saying her hair looks gorgeous. Mine does not look good enough. So anyways, I really enjoyed veiling and I would suggest it. The way I saw it, it was a great way to show my devotion to God in a tangible way. And I highly recommend it for anybody watching this video. So that's the main gist of veiling. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I hope that everyone has a blessed day, and I hope that you all enjoyed Mass. I'll see you later. Bye!